Why are we here? What are we fighting for? We're fighting for a vision of a free society where people can speak out and dissent against government policies without fear of retribution, without fear of arrest, without fear of violent attack. That is the force that we are fighting against. The force of totalitarianism. The force of evil that is so insecure and so afraid that it has to try to drown out a dissenting voice. It has to try to shout down and to violently threaten someone it disagrees with, rather than engage us in a dialogue and a discussion, because they know, of course, that if they did, their ideas would be shown to be false, would be shown to be life-destroying, would be shown to be destructive of societies. And so all they can do is shout us down. All they can do is blow their horns. All they can do is try to attack us physically, because they cannot defeat us intellectually or morally. No, I will never shut up. We are fighting for a truly free society in which all people have equality of rights before the law, and there is no special privileged class. It is no coincidence, and it is no accident that these leftist forces of totalitarianism, who are trying to drown us out, are working hand in hand with Islamic supremacists who want to bring Islamic law to the West, which also, as Pamela said, denies the freedom of speech, denies free discussion and free inquiry, and will violently threaten those who dare to step out of line. There is no accident there in that convergence. They are the forces of authoritarianism, the forces that are arrayed against freedom and democracy and true human rights. We are standing for the freedom of speech. We are standing for the right of free human beings in a free society to speak their mind. We're fighting for the freedom of conscience against those who would violently threaten and even kill someone who comes to a different vision of the ultimate good and the ultimate truth from what they have. We are fighting for the equality of rights of all people before the law against an entrenched legal system that systematically denies equality of rights to women and equality of rights to non-Muslims. We are fighting for a society in which everyone can have a place as long as everyone respects the rules of the society in which they're in and does not try to bring in this radically intolerant system that is trying to impose itself upon us. Tolerance of the intolerant is suicide. Yeah. And there is no way that our free societies can survive unless we stand up and are determined to enforce the laws that we have and the ideas, the principles of the equality of rights of all people and the freedom of speech. The freedom of speech is rapidly being eroded. Not only are we smeared and defamed everywhere, but also, as you know, the governments of Europe and the United States are now working with, in talks with, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton met with Ekmeladini Sanolu, the Secretary General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, in order to discuss ways to circumvent the freedom of speech and to criminalize the defamation of religion. We're not about defamation of religion. We're not about attacking any religion, as Pamela said, but we have to speak the truth about these things. And this is not Islamophobia, this is Islamo-realism. So, when we speak the truth about Islam's agenda to subjugate the rest of the world under its sway and to render us unequal and second-class citizens in an Islamic state, then they call that defamation of religion, even though it's abundantly clear from the Islamic texts and teachings that that's exactly what the agenda is. And so the Secretary of State actually met with the OIC, and the Assistant Attorney General just recently refused to affirm that he would protect the freedom of speech and not try to criminalize the criticism of Islam. If this kind of thing is allowed to happen, and if this kind of thing succeeds, and if these violent fascist thugs get their way, that will be the extinguishing of our free societies. And so we must never let these fascist thugs and the fascist system of Sharia prevail in Sweden or in the UK or anywhere in Europe or in the United States. And we will stand resolutely, no matter what it takes, for freedom and for human rights. And on that basis, I thank you all so much for being here, and thank you for being in this great struggle.